Everybody, this video is for our followers at Viper. Our little version introduction here of Bookmap, which is a trading platform that visually represents liquidity, so like order flow, past tense, future tense, kind of what's happening, what's happened, all combined together as a visualization. Pretty good, especially if were into technical trading and stuff. Almost at this point, I could explain why I don't even look at charts anymore. In this brief, or whatever, however long it takes video, I want to discuss a few things of what I'm using it for, what I see. Today we traded ES and crude oil a bit here off of our Apex account. Got 527.50 on that. Markets move a lot, and you always want to wish that you took more later on, but then we've learned over time, over the years, that that's a game you kind of don't want to play all the time. There's give back periods. So let's get back to the point. What is the kind of Bookmap, what it is? And a buddy of mine introduced this to me back end of last year, 21. I knew about it at its launch. I followed all of Bruce Pringle's videos and all the company stuff, but just didn't quite grasp it. I knew it was kind of pricey. I've overcome sticker shock when it comes to paying for tools. We all know that the better tools you have in the business, you know, it's there's some kind of edge or better result for you, right? And so, but for many years, those who know me, I've gone through trading futures and from stock equity options. Started way in the early, like a 2010 area. 2014 got into futures, jumped on board at NinjaTrader and was doing a lot of the footprint stuff that some of the other popular guys out there launched, and working on trading domes, which I had very little patience for. I tried and tried, and I'm not going to say other competitor names, but by the way, Bookmap does have a very professional Dome Plus trading platform available right now, very equivalent to leading competitors out there, just amazing. Again, so reason I bring this up to you is this is oh, and by the way, this is available on a particular package on Bookmap, but we'll get into all that later. It's not about that. What this is essentially just the auction. For those that don't know, most people watching this video know. You know, it's the bid and ask, the best bid and ask of orders that are in the queue at a certain price. This is the S&P 500. And it's, you know, the best bid and offer at these prices, right? And that's how the market auction theory and everything works. And then you have here what's already happened and order tickets that are being added and pulled and such like that. Now, I never got too much into it. I tried for many years doing the other stuff with Jigsaw. I'll go ahead and give that name. Never got into it. But there's traders that trade this very well. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. That's a new feature, by the way, on Bookmap Global Plus. Subscription, the top of the line one. You can add that to any of the markets you're trading. So what we have here at Bookmap is you can use this for stocks as well. There's a lot of guys that trade really well stocks using a different feed called DX feed. We trade futures and commodities, so we like using the rhythmic feed in here because the rhythmic feed gives us beyond 10 tick of data. You know, a lot of providers out there, TT, CQG, people clearing their own stuff like TradeStation, they're not offering you any more than depth of 10 ticks. I mean, we got unlimited amount of ticks depth here, so we can see what's going on really far and really deep. In the liquidity, we can see people that where they are creating the support, resistance, supply, demand zone could happen, where price magnetizes to. Price magnetizes to liquidity, for one. So let's talk about that. We spoke about that. Now, when we're actually talking about that, we got this thing called the current order book, COB, current order book. On the far right, I have. You can customize this however you like, and this is showing the people with intent. On the right side of this center line of where the price is, you can see on the visualization chart the strength of that liquidity relative to the rest of the order book, okay, by a stronger color. And so what we can see here is that you're seeing, as I'm talking, price magnetizing up towards this guy here, this 200 at 39.40, a round number where price got rejected once before. So it's showing us the intention. And then on the further right here, I have what the session range volume profile, and included in there, I have a point of control, this yellow line. Oops, sorry, not that one. It's actually way down here probably, because the session got a little crazy down here. So You can zoom in and out this thing as far as you like, and we'll talk about that time slices in a bit too. But essentially what this does is just showing you now what's happened, okay? With that, you can use the profiles or those high volume nodes as areas of, targets, areas of entry, in addition to, I'll show you guys kind of like how I use it. And in the next few weeks, months, I'm going to be here every day. I like Bookmap. I'll explain about what the future is going to be here with this. So anyway, we have the current order book with the intent, okay? We can see price getting to it, magnetizing to it, a lot of times rejecting off of it, a lot of times blowing it through. How do I know that orders are, for example, got filled and they didn't just pull? A lot of people say, oh, this stuff isn't real, they can pull. Well, if you just keep your eye on what's already been traded here on the session profile, we could be real quick when we're watching that and see, did they pull or did they really get filled? These guys on this second attempt here, my opinion is going to get blown out and they're going to get filled here. However, there's another tool in here called liquidity tracker, and it helps you identify which one of these are large block big traders. So we know that this isn't just the retail market sitting here. This is some guys with big liquidity, and you just saw them get filled. They got ran over. You had a breakout here, and you could have anticipated that. Now, I gave this up about 2 times. I'm going to be honest. My buddy introduced it to me. I got a trial early in the year. And of course, I said what everybody else says, this looks like an eyesore. But when you keep watching this for weeks and months, it really does have a lot of validity. Today's points, last week's points, everyday points from last week we pulled off, at least for me, was not as hard as any other time trading. And in fact, the only reason even my Ninja Trader is on right now is because I'm trading Apex through it, because I'm not paying them the extra Rhythmic data feed, since I already have Rhythmic here through Bookmap. Okay, and I get the full depth. So since their info is top of book, I do have Global Plus where I could trade off these charts. We'll talk about that in a bit too. So that's why, only reason I have a Ninja Trader, what my point is to that is, I'm not looking at these charts no more. I'm not looking at these. I'm not looking at, volume, these minute charts and where it can be and these aggregated candles. I don't do that. Um, it's been very deceiving to me personally myself. What I've just been using is this, and what I use is just the direction. I can zoom out and look at what's been kind of going on when I first get in. But that's kind of overall the current situation of what I'm looking at in Bookmap, right? So I'm looking at, where's the big orders, where's the probability of where this thing can hold, and then is it relative to a spot that's already traded a lot? If I see, for example, this guy here sitting 111 at 36.35, how good is his contracts? Now he pulled, it looks like, but over here there's a little bit of a volume node, so price could hold up here. And this is an area where, if you're a scalper, you might be able to turn this up and take 5 points up towards 39.40 again. And again, everything is odds, we don't know, but when you sit here and watch this enough times, things pretty much happen. And if that fails, we have another area here with, on the liquidity tracker, which is this little tiny line showing a bigger trader in here at 39.30. In addition, it's a pretty thick volume area again. It's where prices are going to be holding up. When they break, they fly. So things like that. Now, what the second thing is about the visualization of Bookmap, which is really amazing and what helps me. Even if I got really good at trading just a regular order book, okay, remembering where the big players are is very, very key. If you guys want a better explanation of this, just Google on YouTube the owner's name, Sachi, and he talks for about an hour with some guy in Italy or France or something like this about exactly what his vision was when he made this software. And he knew he was going to be unstoppable compared to the competitors. There's a lot of guys out there trying right now to duplicate, but they can't do it. And what this is doing is it's showing us a representation of where the liquidity was in the past. So on the left side here of this line of where price currently is, the current book, it's what happened. But what is beneficial about it and can really open your eyes in a different way, a different aha moment, is, will they come back in here and can support that again? You'll usually see them attempt it in the current order book, but you have more validity to it when you see visually where they've been before. I mentioned earlier we had a larger liquidity guy here at 30s, and he could have potentially fought. Now, if he wasn't looking at the volume behind him, and he was maybe here at 39.25, price could have blown past him and even stopped him if he was a scalp algo or something like that. But in this case, price is kind of holding there. Why look again here at the past? So if you were trading here already and you traded this up somehow for whatever other technical aggregate candle chart reason you went long, probability you're going to remember that spot, what happened there, how the orders reacted to that spot will be very tough, especially if you're on a regular dome. Okay, remembering that it just takes a lot of intense memory and things like that. This is the ES, by the way, September contract. In fact, today we only took a little over 4 points on this one. We made more on crude oil, about 30 ticks. But as you see here, this is one of the most beneficial things. There's a bunch of indicators and stuff available for Bookmap. I've tried them. I've tried the MBO, iceberg detectors, and all this stuff. I'm not using it currently. When the team over there said, let's turn this back on for you and see how it works, I was very happy to have just the rhythmic data with their Bookmap, and it's fantastic. I mean, it really stripped down every other thing during the day that I'm looking at or thinking about. And that could be a distraction, okay? We could talk about distractions further in different videos about how you should be more focused on yourself when you're trading and not be in a lot of these groups and stuff. Even I had groups, have friend groups, but I'm trying to be very focused when I'm working. This is an intense situation when you're working, and people texting and messaging during trading. It's I don't understand it anymore. It just never worked for me. So we got this going on. This is the stuff about Bookmap, the basic stuff. Let's look quickly here at crude oil because I have that up as well. It's a little bit more messier. You got probably more algorithms in here and things like that. Um, but again, you can identify, if you know how to chart, if you're a technical trader, and confirm with the current order book potential spots of turns at the bottom of liquidity here, where we have 86.40 here. Lot of big, thicker contracts here, which identifies to us and tells us these are bigger players, and they've been supporting this price, as you see, through this whole morning session. And every time price came back down into here, okay. In addition, the CVD, which over almost 10 years, I've discounted CVDs, cumulative volume delta, on all platforms except this one. Generally, I think the Bookmap, and I talked to Bruce the other day, and I told him this is like the best CVD tool I've ever seen by far. It actually can keep you a little bit on the right side of the market. Now, even though we're in this range here, you guys might be thinking, oh, BS. Trust, when it goes up on a cumulative volume delta market where the buyers are more strong than the sellers, you can clearly see that if you open up a standard chart, look at a daily candle, and you see we're at a support. You can kind of do that before you come into your day here. It confirms. And also, the momentum to the upside is always greater. You just saw that pop. So where is it more likely where your trades are going to come together? Um, you know, to the short side, it's like my mentor always said, swimming against the tide. Or do you want to be swimming on the right side of it? Even though we got VWAP in the way and we have midpoint lines in the way, we're just straight up right now today talking about order book. If you want a little bit about that cumulative volume delta, where everybody is where their majority of the contracts are long versus short, and vice versa. We're looking at this current order book here where support happened 1, 2, 3, 4 times in the last hour, okay, and massive amount of ticks, guys. We're talking 50-cent swings. And what was probable about it, where it would stop at the target points, is where the volume traded last. And so again, high probability straight setups, and it works for me. Just want to share that again what generally Bookmap is, and then in the days and weeks to come, I'll be showing these as I'm doing them. Eventually, at some point, going live, maybe in the Bookmap room myself. But for now, I'm focused on myself, and I'm doing really well with it. I wanted to share that with you guys. There's a link for a trial of Bookmap at the bottom of this video. I'll add it. It's my own link. I think there's a little incentive in there if you guys want to try it out, clicking on that, learning more about it. You can message me questions and information. As far as messaging questions and information and comments, guys, for many years I didn't care what people said. on this channel. I don't make a ton of money contributing my time in this business. I'm not a daily YouTuber. I don't get paid off mega links, and YouTube doesn't compensate me. I do this because this is my passion. There's a lot of things I can do outside of my personal life, like in my real estate investing, that makes a ton more consistent flow than this. This is my passion, and I do it pretty well now. And what helps me is Bookmap. Things change sometime, and people comment. But if you look at how long I've been out here, I've gone through all the processes and all the technical stuff and all the algorithms and all the footprint charts. And sometimes, hey, my content sucks. I agree, but I'm out here doing it. And so, did it disturb me a little bit that somebody got cocky a little bit this weekend and had a comment? Yeah, but you can keep trying. All we're going to do is delete you. We don't really ultimately care. We're here to help the people that want to know about what we're doing, and the vetted tools and professionals that we talk about and promote is what we use. You know, um, because these are professional tools, and we're not pros every day in them. And I see pros that screw up trades. You're never going to be a perfect trader. I think what happens is people get disgruntled in the business, and they come here and they vent because they can't trade. And between the little negative groups that they hang out in, and then coming on YouTube commenting is what makes them feel better. It's kind of like drinking alcohol. This makes you feel better, but it's not going to fix anything. So if you like to follow me, subscribe to this stuff, guys. I have a very good relationship with Bookmap, and I think what they're doing is amazing. It's helped me a ton. I don't have to second guess a lot of my trades. Also, it helps me stay in trades longer. Here's another thing. Somebody said this is just for scalping or something like this. Well, you know what? If you can't start off as a good scalper intraday, it's going to be very hard for you to hold positions longer. And another reason I want to comment to that is why it looks like it's for scalping is you can zoom in on Bookmap these time slices so little that you can look at every nanosecond of order. This is high quality, high frequency trade platform information. Now, the reason why it's like this is these guys over at Bookmap used to be quant traders. These guys in Europe were quantitative traders, and they figured out how to really deep dive into the markets beyond just regular tick data and see every single little thing coming in and translate that on this platform. Okay, it is running on Python, so some of you Python guys that still want to trade algorithms out there, you can code down with Python on Bookmap. It used to be Java. We have an algo over there at NinjaTrader still. A lot of people have been questioning, asking me about it. I still always have been a discretion trader. I created an algorithm, and I tell people this transparently, that I created that for myself to control my emotions. And since it was doing pretty decent, we went ahead and marketed it. I still provide services for it on my site over here at Viper Futures. If you could click here. Again, I don't have many things that incentivize me to be out here, guys. I pretty much just have this as a blog, my passion site, and then there's just on algorithmic trading. This one. Somebody asked a question recently about if this is available to do on spreads. Unfortunately, my friend, it's not. If you're listening, I wish it was. We attempted to do something like that back on Easy Language and TradeStation about 3-4 years ago when COVID first started. But then we just canceled the whole thing. Working with it was becoming a pain, and started realizing if we didn't go back to trading professionally on discretion, then why are we even trading? Algos work, but algos, you got to have a lot of money and be hedged. Okay, that's why hedge funds do well with algos, because my opinion, even in here, whoever guys are using Python, you might have two trades that cost you $13,000, but they might be on 10 different commodities. Wheat, grain, soybean, that end up making them $28,000. So for their net for the day, they could be up still over 10, 12, 13, $14,000. I have hedge fund friends that do that. They can't trade individually. They trade with a algorithm. Anyway, enough of that. I know you guys are going to say, this is not, topic-related conversations you're having. This is just damn my channel. I'm talking. And I talk to express myself, and people that enjoy my time here and what we're talking about, they'll stick around. And I apologize anyway for that. I know I do that crap. All right, but this is Bookmap, and I'm again, guys, check it out for yourself. Ask questions. I'll be out here more often showing the trades I did. Another thing. what's really nice in front of a news event, today at 9 o'clock, top of the hour, half an hour after the open, we had ISM. Let's go back and I'll show you how this stuff, Friday, we had NFP and it was the same thing. I was streaming this in my little Discord group. But you can see here, guys, at like right around 9, you see how it got dark here, this dark fill. All the market makers and algos shut off. You can see where it got a little bit dark even like 15 minutes before. These are all the prop traders. These are all the prop traders pulling their stuff so they don't get disqualified for working for their prop firm that tells them they got to be out 10 minutes before the news. This is a bunch of market makers and algos that shut off, and then boom, you have the little volatility, and then the liquidity comes back in here, and this is all historic remnants of liquidity that came in, and then then they went with their conviction. But they got out the way for several minutes or seconds, and this happens all the time. And when you see that, that can give you a heads up to just flatten out real quick. Okay, you can flatten out. So there's that kind of stuff. There's many cool things that if you just keep watching Bookmap, you got to give yourself several months. Don't come in and okay, I'm going to try this for 1 month, or try it fine for a month if that's all you can afford. But try to commit to several months so you can really see what's going on with it, and you'll be happy with your edge. You might come in here and just make your 10 points off ES every day and just bail out. I highly recommend it. ES is a lot like what NQ used to be. I call ES the old NQ, the new NQ. I think I coined that and people started saying it. It's just the way that the sector has been rebalanced, with the tech stocks, that ES is just, if you liked NQ at all in the past, and I have friends that, including myself, falling in the NQ trap, ES could really give you what you were looking for on the old NQ. NQ's just changed dynamically, but ES is now almost that. You have these 10-point swings, 15, 20-point runs, and question yourself, do 3-point stops work now these days? A lot of guys that had that kind of rule don't work no more. You have to adjust. You can adjust with ATRs and things like that. There's a lot of people that do things. However, this can help you too, because you can know where your probability is, and then you can have a short stop like that if that's what you want to do. Okay, so again, next few days and weeks I'll be coming out and explaining my position, what I'm doing, what my thought process is, and why. And I'm just using, again, the current order book and the orders that have traded relative to what I'm seeing in the past on a visual basis. That's helping me, at least the way my brain works and things like that. How I can get from point A to B and just be done for the day as quick as possible. Because again, these things can get ugly sometimes. Fridays, they look like crap, especially when there's expirations on the options chains. Very hard to read, but this is a very clean day. You can really see nice spots. You got a spot here at 39.40 that couldn't happen. It gets halted again with these areas where they've already traded. Anyway, excuse me guys, I'm a little bit brain tired. Just wanted to share with you an intro here for my guys that are watching what Bookmap is. Some of you still probably never heard of it, or you've seen it from other guys, but you need a little bit different explanation from me. And this is all it is, guys. This is all it is. You can add all kind of things to it, but the basic package of Bookmap is this. We're looking at liquidity in a different fashion, and a visualization from the current, the future, and the past combined together to create high probability trade setups. Okay, that's all we're doing. All right, everybody, have a good rest of your trading week. Let's see how many minutes we have on here. I may go ahead and just see if you can get some little price reaction here to prove a point. You're looking now here at this 39.20 level that has liquidity here. Usually the algos will try to front run it if they feel it's true. Looking at the CVP, sellers are still a little bit dominant here, obviously, for today. But you see where this guy is, there's a little bit of liquidity hump here. It's not that strong. So if it breaks through, I mean, this thing can fly down to, it can fly down quite low. Down this 3900s where it was earlier in the morning. Well, let's see how well they hold that up. I'm going to move it up from here. And if it moves up, where's the next possible target? It'd be like a 5-point run up here to the 28 level, right at the bottom of this volume node. It's just where usually brakes are put on the momentum when it starts rushing into where a lot of that where volume was traded. Okay, and additionally, there's nothing here supporting that's going to try to hold it up again, right? So we see price. Usually the algos do this crap. They kind of front run that 3920s there and the 18s. Might be another little fake and a pullback, but you know, if you were a scalper there, you had about 4 points right there, just right there. Um, you know, it could pop. There's a little bit of a seller here, but if it breaks past him, this is the spot maybe 39.30. Could be that kind of like first area where it's going to start holding off again. You could trade this off the charts by using this Global Plus. You can link an account to it. I only have this on a sim, and I do not have my Apex nor my NinjaTrader hooked up. You can hook up NinjaTrader through here by downloading an adapter, which I have, and then in that case, for my private account, I'd be like on the micros. For Apex, I'm more aggressive. I have a 150K account there, so I'm doing single munis. And as you can see here, as we approach this, you see this 2750 actually, where there's like a lot of volume. I gotta readjust my screen, guys. You saw that that's where price kind of froze up, right? Because that was the entry of this node. More sellers here than buyers occurred at this 2750, and it sold back down 3 points. No signs of buyer wanting to come back in yet. And this guy sitting down here, he's at threat now, but because again, under him is nothing all the way back down to where we were in the morning, way down here. We spent a lot of time down here in the AM. So this guy could be at threat. If they can't pull this back up, somebody doesn't come in and load up orders back up in through here. So, but again, the dominant side is selling today, and you know, it's all you had to keep sticking with on the selling sides every time. You had a lot of selling points here. Anytime sellers came in the 30s and price was hanging above this session volume profile, they were nice, quick 5 to 10 points. And again, not even looking at a chart, just literally looking at the price activity. Personally, I think this guy's at threat here. This 3920. And look at this range here, late morning too. You see how the volume's a little thin just in between this 5-point area. So you have the bottom of this little volume node and then this volume node here, and in between here it struggled. So there's a reason it struggled. You got a potential buying here and then more dominant sellers here in a complete, down day. Who's going to most likely win? I still feel that this guy's in trouble. I could be wrong, but he can get blown out fast. Oh, it held up. So depending what your bias was there, guys, held up 2 times. It did make sense. What I thought was my personal opinion, but that was like almost an 8 point sweep up, run up there, real quick. And it could turn back again because we got these little rotations here in between this volume that's occurred already. So we'll have to see. And with Bookmap, you can see this. So we'll get crude oil real quick. And the next few days and weeks when I come back, it's not going to be any ranting or any of this and that. It's just going to be straight up trading. This was a nice support again. I mean, it broke a little under that 36.50 on crude oil that we were talking about here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 test. Big volume came in here. Well, but it didn't really trade. It was just loose. It was just, um, I bet if we had an indicator here off of Bookmap that showed sell stops, these could have been a bunch of stop orders. Could have been a bunch of buying here, maybe a bunch of little buying accumulating here. Sell stop, sweep, and then boom, go. That sucks. There's probably people pissed off here because that's a 30 cent, like that's a hard run for someone to lose there. Takes your motivation away, then you can't come in really quick here to take this long. You got to be able to pull the trigger quick. So if that's what that was, these buyers here got stopped out. Um, that's disadvantage for them. Had they been over here and seen this 86.20 with the liquidity tracker showing large orders, they were here, by the way. They could have quickly readjusted and got back in. I mean, you're risking about 10 ticks to make what, 50 cents. You got to pull triggers here in this business. Um, this you see the past. This liquidity was here already. They were coming in and constantly coming in, and they're still here a little bit. And they pulled 100 lots off because they don't feel the need anymore to support that. They probably moved a lot of them up here now. Look at the CVD, and we're dominantly on the buyer side. Always were. All session today since I was in here. And don't be surprised you hit all those guys up there and take their liquidity. But these guys are now holding 87 as strong as they can. Where if it comes into it, the volume that's already occurred here at the top of this profile, this session profile, is pretty strong to validate this piece of information here. Okay. And it's a strong move up. What did ES do? Held up there and just really took off. I mean, it held up at this midpoint that we're using. It's an indicator, high-low midpoint of the session since we turned it on. Held up there twice, supported by the liquidity that was a few points under. These guys got front run. I bet you a ton of them. If you're not front running, and I learned this from some of the greatest traders that use Bookmap, you'll literally get front run by algos there. There's algos that'll front run liquidity by 2-3 points and just leave you hanging. And it leaves retail traders hanging because this is where they feel skated. They feel like they were at a point and they just got completely not filled, and they feel skated by the markets. But there's algos that are set up to do that too. Almost, you see this 39.40 target here. Look, where did this guy stop? 2 points ahead. Now these are smart Bookmap traders too, and order book traders that know that, so they're gonna front run it too to get exit out of this position. Nobody wants to give up 10 whole points just to come all the way back down and be 3-point profit. So, this is the part where discretion comes in. It's very important. An algo or just an automated bracket order set by a certain rule of 2-to-1 or 3-to-1, it's gonna get you eventually. Intraday, you have to be able to make decisions on your feet, on your toes, just running. If you were wanting to get in here and you missed that, if the guys that front ran it got in here and they missed that, not knowing that information, not keep seeing that information and just get out. You just, you had your whole day there. 38, 22, even with some slippage, 10 points, only to give half of it back. So, got to be quick. This Bookmap helps you with that. I'm going to go ahead and call it a day here, guys. I have a lot of stuff on my agenda, and I'm past my time frame to do Bookmap sessions. We had a good day. I'm happy. You know what? I can't complain. I got that done over there. I can turn everything down and then come back tomorrow. Everybody have a good one.